Hello and welcome to Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. I'm your host, Ryan, and joining me tonight is none other than the top play versus caster for Rocket League and League of Legends. It's Daddy Perino. However, he seems to not be at his desk at the moment. I don't know where he could have gone off to on me. But I'm going to go ahead and start us off. I have something blocking this screen, so I can't see his cam until we switch scenes. So I didn't know that he left. Otherwise, I would have held off. But we're going now. Guys, if you didn't know, this is episode 39 of Around the Scene. Oh, he's back.
Hey!
He's back. How are you doing, man?
I'm so busy. I don't have time to get my own clothes out of the dryer before my roommates yell at me. So I'm sorry. I just had to take care of that really quickly because I try to be a good person generally, and being a good roommate, is one of the prerequisites to being a good person. So I just sprinted upstairs. I just ran back down. So
you're all good to go now. You're a little out of breath, but you're here.
I literally sprinted upstairs to go do that. So oops.
But guys, if you didn't know, this is episode 39 of Around the Scene. We're here every Wednesday for you to get your fix on all things Rocket League. If you like this, be sure to give us a thumbs up, sub, whatever on Twitch, YouTube, or your podcast service of choice. Also consider kicking us a buck over on patreon.com/playingwithrockets. Quick shout out to our Patreon sponsors our Patreon producers for the month of February. I'm all over the place right now. It's
I feel that.
5, Neo, and Kyle. We thank you guys so much for your continued support. If you want to be a part of the show, though, the only way to do that is to join us here on twitch.tv/playingwithrockets and pose your questions, comments, concerns, topic ideas, anything that you want. Just throw it there in chat, and we will probably talk about it. But the only way to do that is, of course, to be here. Today's podcast episode is brought to you by our very first set of sponsors, G Fuel and GameStop, but we'll be discussing them later on in the show. Perino, are you ready to get things rolling?
Sure. I'm actually, so it's funny. I believe this is probably our first topic of the day. So I literally, as of right now, 60 seconds ago, PSA for Rocket League users, we're performing maintenance on Cynet tonight. 10 p.m. PST, 1 a.m. Eastern.
Again?
Online access will
they
be
just announced it?
for up to 60 minutes on all platforms during this maintenance period. Yes, literally right now.
Which that leads us into our first topic on the news segment. Server issues over the weekend have forced Psyonix to cancel the first weekend of RLCS and the Rival Series play-ins for both North America and Europe. Gonna read you a quick response. This is a post from, I think, Psyonix Corey or Ian over on the subreddit. I can't remember who posted. I just have it right here. Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, we had to drop Rocket League into maintenance mode again today. This is what they posted on Monday, by the way. Mode again today, and we wanted to share some info on what's been happening behind the scenes since last week. On Thursday last week, we performed scheduled maintenance to move our backend infrastructure, also known as Cynet, to an updated version of MySQL. Once we hit a peak number of 315,000 concurrent players on Friday, Cynet started experiencing critical errors, which continued throughout the weekend and today. We had to repeat this process several times over the weekend, which is why we made the difficult decision to delay the starts of RLCS, rival play-ins, and the CRL. We're still investigating the root cause of the problem within Cynet. This is something that we've been working on nonstop over the weekend, and we are committed to getting Cynet back into a stable state as soon as we possibly can. Once we have Cynet back in a stable state, we will share more on the specifics of what happened and what we're going to do to prevent stability issues like this in the future. Finally, we are still moving forward with tomorrow's content update. Yeah. We want to apologize for all the issues over the last 4 days. Know that we are working as hard and quickly as possible to fix this and get it right. Thank you. So, I know you have some choice words about all this. But real quick, I do want to give them, I do want to commend them, though, on trying to be transparent and quick about it. They immediately were just saying, hey, this is the issue. It's because we did this movement of the servers and everything. I appreciate that level of transparency, and I would like for them to continue that moving forward because it doesn't feel like they've been doing that a lot lately. So, on this topic, I can say that is one thing that I was happy with from them, is that they were quick to try and get in front of this thing. Well, yeah, they did make an announcement before Monday whenever they had to put it in maintenance mode again, but this was just another follow-up announcement to kind of explain a little bit more.
Yeah, so there are positives, right, to having this happen. So again, obviously the TLDR is servers broke bad, and they canceled RLCS and Rival Series play-ins from this weekend.
And the start of CRL.
And the start of CRL.
Was supposed to start on Monday.
So they pushed basically everything back. As you mentioned, a couple of the positives. So one, obviously they came out and got on the issue straight away. Again, I was just playing earlier today. We did mention, of course, right off the top of the segment, that they're still doing work on it. So it's not perfect yet, but it is being worked on, and they're going to manage it. So that's good, right? It's good that they're transparent. It's good that there's 315,000 concurrent players.
No, that was another thing too.
Right?
Like, that's a lot of players.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think we actually. I wonder though if that was like for all platforms or what. I assume it had to have been, but it's like that still was crazy number to me.
Yeah, it's one of the largest numbers I've seen ever, actually, in the game. As far as I can remember, it's one of the largest cross-platform numbers that I've seen, and all those things are good. So I'm going to preface this by starting there, right? Here's my thing. I was so upset, not even by the fact that we lost RLCS, okay? Because here's the thing.
That really hurt, man. I was so excited for RLCS.
But listen, I get it. It happens. There are some things that are simply beyond the scope of your control. You had to cancel it. Like, okay, I get it. Obviously, losing RLCS isn't great for the first week, but it's even just beyond RLCS and things in general that really upset me, because it is something we're getting to a point in Rocket League where there are now multiple dependencies.
I'm sorry.
I know. I can hear the dog in the background too. I know. It's okay.
I guarantee my wife just pulled into the driveway, and so she's just losing her mind.
It happens. Again, something you just can't control, right? It happens. Look, it happens every day to people ever.
Most I can do is just close the door.
But with that said, I was so initially upset because there are dependencies for people on this game, even outside of RLCS and even just within their initial player base.
Yeah.
Again, just full disclosure, right? I'm doing a casting event for a high school league for Rocket League. So it's sponsored by Play Versus. They work with Psyonix and everything. They make high school leagues. We had two grand finals scheduled.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about this too.
For that Saturday. Now, one of these grand finals, mind you, was in the state of Massachusetts. And so what they set up for the Rocket League players and for the League of Legends players as well was they got to go to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, where the New England Patriots play, and they got to go into the Boston Uprising facility, right? Yeah. So Kraft owns the Patriots, and then he also owns the Boston Uprising, which is the Overwatch team. Mm-hmm. So they got to go into their facility, and they got to play their state grand final at LAN right outside Gillette Stadium. Like it's literally like right next door. Yeah. And it's so cool. That is a once in a lifetime experience that these players probably will not get again for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that was pretty horrible. Whenever you told me that, I was like, oh.
Until the servers just die. We had a caster come out to cast this event who drove 6 hours to stay in Philadelphia with us for the weekend to cast this event. And same thing. Now he's just out. And it's not even about RLCS, because yes, they are obviously dependent upon it too. I get it. But there are so many other things that are dependent upon it. I was just looking up at the Reddit thread that you tossed up to bring us into this segment.
Yeah.
Someone was running a 12-hour charity stream on Rocket League. Can't do it. Servers broke. Like we're getting to a point in this esport now where there are organizations and people who are dependent upon the stability of the game outside of the top level. Yeah. And that's where I was hurt by this, because it's not fair to the player base. It's not fair to the people who are trying to make a living or part of a living working in and around this game, it's not fair to even people like us doing content, because now, I mean, we're stuck content now.
Where's
It's
that
like
content, man?
well, but it's a horrible look for the esport, right? It's a horrible look for Psyonix.
It comes across as them being inept. I mean,
right?
And that's the thing that I see from a lot of people is just like, okay, you had so much dead time between seasons that you could have done this update. Why did you wait till right now to do it? Was it impossible for you to wait to do it or something? Or like, was it not possible for you to do it earlier? Like something, it would have been good for them to have just like done this at a point when it was more viable for them to do it. And like, I don't know if it was something about the concurrent player number or what, but it just seems like it just comes across.
It's a Saturday.
No, exactly, but it's just like that's such a dumb time.
Of course, people are online.
Dumb of them to have done this literally right before RLCS weekend, when they had when I tuned in, they had like right at 100,000 viewers,
which would have set a record
for the start. The games hadn't even begun for RLCS. They were waiting for the games to begin. People were ready to go, and they had to like shut the stream down partway through. It was just like, man, like that. It was so crazy because it's the first week. Like who knows how many of these people were brand new to the game, or a part of that bump that we got after RLCS Season 8's grand finals and stuff. Like we got so many new people into the scene after that happened because they were like, oh crap, like this is a big game. This is so cool. I got to get in on this. And so people were looking forward to being able to watch the start of their very first season ever. And this happens. Like it's a really bad look. But I think a lot of that comes down to, and I applaud Psyonix for having been more open communication wise, but they also haven't been for the most part. And it's like, why? Can you explain why you couldn't have done this sooner? Can you explain why this had to happen literally right before this event? Like, please, I would love to have an understanding of it.
It's because they don't care about the esports side of it. And frankly, this is one of the many hints that we've got. They just don't care. Look, throw esports out the window for just a second, right? Forget the esports side of it.
I mean, you couldn't play the game for the whole weekend.
Okay, it's the Saturday.
You couldn't play it.
It's the Saturday before the Super Bowl. Let's say you're just you're a casual game, right? It's the Saturday before the Super Bowl. Nobody has anything going on. Are you kidding? People are going to want to play your game because they're going to have the free time and dedication. Friday, Saturday, Sunday is peak hours for all online games, not just Rocket League, for all online games. Yeah. Why would you try and go through with a server upgrade right before one of your most open weekends of the whole year?
Weekend for you, because it wasn't just RLCS, it was the rival series play-ins, which that's part of why I got upset, is because I changed my schedule for the day to ensure that I would get home in time so that I could host the play-ins. Because I was like fully prepared to come in and host it and everything, but I had to go and like change up my whole schedule because I run a youth sports league. So I was busy on Saturdays. Like that's what I'm doing, is I'm running my youth sports league. I have basketball games I'm running for a bunch of kids. I have to leave early from that so that I can get back in time. So it was like, for me, it sucked because it was like, okay, I had already left by the time they decided to cancel everything. So it's now I got to cancel I have to like leave earlier this weekend again, which puts my staff in a bind. And it's just like, again, like you were saying, people make their schedules and decisions based on your game working because they're trying to do stuff with your game. And it is so bad to see that happen. Like, it's just awful. And I mean, I was super frustrated about it because it was like, I took time to come do this, and like, but it's not even that I took time. It's also I was excited. I'm always so excited anytime I get to be a host, a caster. I'm always super honored and excited for it, and I was so excited to be caster, host, whatever, for my very first play-ins, because the play-ins are honestly my favorite day out of the whole esports season. That's my favorite day because these are the teams that I have watched week in and week out. I've watched some of these players go from being nobodies to some of the Titans that we see now. Like Stokely, he was in one of our very first tournaments we ever did, and now he's in the rival series, possibly going to the RLCS for season 10. We don't know yet, but it's like those are big names out there. It's like I got to watch them, and it's so I'm super excited for that day. But it's just like it sucked that it got pushed back, and it sucks that they just. I just want to hear more from them on why this happened, because it just doesn't feel like it had to happen, and so I just want to understand.
And after now having a couple of days to reflect upon it, right? Because my initial take was very, very, very important, and even stronger than the one I just gave to you now. But after having a couple of days, like, I understand things go wrong. There are things outside of your control, but again, I'm not an IT professional. I don't know servers. I don't know back-end coding. I don't know how you transition databases into the SQL. Like, listen, that's not my area of expertise, so I'm not going to really speak, on that, because I just don't know. However, from an outsider, right, from someone who doesn't know, I'll say this. It's like, why couldn't you have even just done it on Monday, right?
Yeah.
Forget the importance of, this past weekend for the Rocket League esports scene. Just purely even from a casual player-based point of view, why would you ever try to go through server upgrades on a weekend, ever? Or even on a Friday before a weekend, where like, this may happen. Like, with any sort of work that you do on servers, there are bound to be problems eventually at some point, right? So why not just do it on Monday and then say, okay, oops, we broke it, but now we have Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to figure it out. You know what I mean? That's the sort of decision making and transparency that we talk about. It's like, because from the outside looking in, it seems straightforward, but obviously, again, I don't know, so I can't always really like. So I can't give an informed opinion, but I want to
bring Chad in a little bit on this one. From Naga RL, it really was just a bad mistake that they didn't expect to happen. They thought they made a solid update and weren't worried about the game breaking, but guarantee it won't ever happen again. And then Vanish, Psionics should always have a plan B ready in case things like this happen on update days. And then K-Factor, they should always be prepared, though. That's just good practice. And so I want to address Naga real quick. The problem here is, Nate, give me an update where they haven't broken some part of the game.
Yeah,
like, to really be totally honest, give me an update where they haven't broken some part of the game. Every single time these guys roll out an update, some part of the game breaks. And now, did they expect it was going to be totally game-breaking like this? No, I don't think anybody expected it to be as game-breaking as it was. But there's always some aspect of the game, whether it's tournaments or the ball sticking to the top of your car whenever you go to dribble like a magnet. Like, they have so many things.
Demos?
Yeah, demos get messed up, or flip resets get broken. Like, there's always something somewhere in the game that kind of gets broken. And so it's like I think our point here isn't that they don't care or that they weren't prepared for it. It's just that you should have been prepared. And I mean, I personally just want to hear from them and understand, like, could this not have waited? Or couldn't this have been done sooner? I want to understand why this was done in the manner that it was. Like, that's really my main thing, is I want them, again, to kind of show us some of that transparency that they showed us with this post. I'm glad that they explained to us why it happened, of saying, oh, it's because we had concurrent viewers of this number. We just finished doing an update where we changed the back-end structure. That's good. You're giving us the information that we need. Personally, I would like a little bit more to just understand the decision behind why you chose this specific time to do it. But even if I don't ever get that, I'm still happy that they gave us at least this much. And that's my main thing with Psionics right now, is they need to kind of go back to when they first started this game, where they were very open with the community. They talked to us about a lot of things, and they kind of strayed from that. And so this right here feels like a good first step towards getting back to that, to me, of just getting out in front of it and talking to us, because we all care about the game at the end of the day. I mean, we are doing a podcast because we love this game so much.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. The reason we get upset and animated and we talk about it in this way is because we all care so much. You and I were talking personally before the show, but for me, like, this past week has been so incredible to me. The opportunities that I am starting to get that I can't really get to yet, and you've had this as well. You and I both really over this past weekend have, attained opportunities in and around this game that we never would have thought possible.
Oh yeah.
And it's because we care. That's ultimately, at the end of the day, we all want to succeed, and we all want this game to succeed. And it's things like this, when we look at it on the surface, that it's like just it's painful. It hurts. It genuinely physically hurts. That's my side of it. Again, there are so many people now who are starting to make and earn a living by producing content, whether it's tournaments, podcasts, YouTube, whatever, Twitch, sure, who are making a living doing this game in one way or another. Mm-hmm. And it's things like this that prevent people from sticking to it, right? Because you need the consistency and you need the trust that things are going to be there for you, because when it's your livelihood on the line now, I feel for my co-caster where, leaves the studio that we broadcast the tournaments from for high school. And, for me, it's not a big deal to go into the studio because I'm 10 minutes away.
Yeah.
But when you have someone spending
6 hours,
a whole weekend,
that sucks.
They took a whole weekend out of their time to come down to Philadelphia to work in the studio to do this event. And it's things like that make someone, well, why would I ever want to do this again? And that's why
would I ever
that's
try to
why
catch
it
for
upsets
this game
me.
again?
That's why it
leaves a
upsets me. I
bad
think
taste
that's
in their mouth.
the core of it.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely with you on that. I mean, and Naga, I would read all of what you said there, but I can't just because it's a long deal. But I mean, I think they are gonna do an apology and stuff. I think that they're gonna come out and say some stuff about it. Do I expect them to be saying like, "Oh, this will never happen again"? Probably not, because to be honest, I don't know if they're gonna have this happen again anyway. Because the whole premise of what this is it was them updating servers on the back end.
Right.
Like, that's really like a one-time type deal that you do as you grow. Like, I don't see if they're doing this upgrade, it means that they needed to because they weren't able to support the number of players they were having anyway. Mm-hmm. So they're going to be able to support a lot more players most likely with this new update, which is good. It's them trying to grow the game more. Awesome. I'm happy about that. Do I see them having this issue again in the future? Not anytime soon. I mean, this game's probably not going to have another update like that for
years, probably, right?
Yeah, it's probably going to be years before they have another update of this magnitude where they're changing server stuff. And so, I mean, that's it. Just at the end of the day, like, I think they understand this was a big mistake. And I think I just want transparency from them. I just want to understand, was this not something y'all could wait on? And I mean, if they came out and said like, hey guys, like, we knew we were going to have a lot of players this weekend, and we knew that if we didn't try to do something, the servers were going to break anyway. So like, this was necessary. This was a necessary thing that we had to do.
Right, I would take that.
Do I think that that's the reason? I don't understand any of this stuff anyway, so I can't say for sure what would have happened, or if it was even something that could have been that urgent. But it's just like, if they give me a reason that feels logical as to why they did it so close to RLCS, like, I'll accept that. I mean, I don't know anything about it. I just want to they can throw out like all this mumbo IT stuff to me, and it's like, okay,
yeah, I don't know.
That sounds reasonable. I don't get it, but that sounds reasonable. Like, again, I just think a rational response of like why you did this. Why
I'll
you
say
waited
this.
after this whole off season that you had to do this. Why did you choose to do it literally that week?
I'll say this much. I'd previously considered this idea anyway prior to the events of this weekend. I would actually love to have one of the Cyanix members on our show. I think that would be amazing.
I honestly thought about that, and I was like, man, they so wouldn't do it though.
They probably
come on.
They probably cannot or will not. But if you are listening, I know some of you guys listen over there at San Diego. Listen, if any of you are listening and you want to join us and you want to, talk to us, and by us, not just Ryan and I, but like, the community at large, and for those who listen, listen, I'm here because I'm willing. Listen, I'm not going to try and like.
I will say though that's one of the things that we like doing is we like being that mouthpiece for people. Like RBG through all this stuff that they've done, like we've tried to be that mouthpiece of trying to bring a level of understanding to the situation and stuff.
Because it's useful.
Yeah. No, and like that's my thing is I want to try and bring like a rational look at things, and I want to try and be that mouthpiece for people to use. Like if people need us as a platform to kind of get some points across and stuff, like I'm happy being that platform for them. I'm happy making that connection with the community for them. If they feel like we're a proper venue for that. Do I think a Psionic staff would think that we're the proper venue? Most likely not. But I think it would be really cool to have one of them on to just pick their brain, again, if anything. Like that'd be cool.
Prior to this weekend, again, you and I and others, I've been reaching out to community members as well. We've been trying to get other people worked into the show. So I had considered previously reaching out to any of the Psionics esports people just in general, because I think it would be interesting to hear their perspective regardless. Now, after this weekend, will they do it? Would they have done it anyway? No. Probably not. But it's worth an ask. And hey,
to be honest, I don't think they have time. If I'm being totally honest, I don't feel like these people have time for this kind of stuff, because it's like, I don't know if it's just me, and I could just be talking out my ass here. I don't know. But do you feel like Psionics is a little bit on fire lately? And I don't mean just the server thing, but even the esports side and just in general. It feels like things are on fire over there or something. And what I mean by that is the rival series play-ins and the qualifiers leading up to those play-ins were super rushed. This whole season feels very rushed. They didn't do like their typical, like the deadline for before they started everything. Just it felt like it all happened really quickly. I don't feel like we typically get everything as fast as we did, and it's like, and I get that to an extent it's for the Olympic stuff they have coming up like mid-year and everything, but it's just like this feels very quick for them to be trying to push through as many things as they're doing, to the point where they're just not able to handle it all. Like, is it just me, or do you feel like that's the case too?
No, it gives that impression. To be completely real with you, when I did last week's episode with Grubsy, I had totally forgot that RLCS was supposed to be this previous weekend.
Because
so like a week ago,
so fast.
And it feels rushed. So I agree in the sense that things do feel a little bit on fire, as you say. In terms of like just trying to get everything done and done quickly. Whether or not one of them would take an hour out of their day to come and sit and talk with us, I don't know. The only way you're ever going to know is by asking, and I've been asking people anyway, so I might just reach out.
Now, chill out for this podcast all the time, man.
I run it. It's actually really funny. I sometimes run into community members and professionals in my ranked games, and literally every single time, without fail, I will try to bother one of them to come on the show. 24/7, 365. You better believe I sell out for this.
Yeah, you do.
If you ever watch my Twitch streams, you'll see it. I ran into Roll Diz in rank today, and then I was like, actually, it wasn't even me. I was queuing with some of my friends, and I like brought up the idea. I'm like, hey, like, do you think I should ask him to come on the podcast tonight? And my friend was just like, no, I'll do it. So I'm even getting my friends to do it for me now, which is great.
We're just sending out feelers to figure out who's interested.
Well, we're sliding in the DMs. We're,
making moves,
bothering people in their ranked games, going in their Twitch chats. You
all that people in ranked games. I'm not at a level to play with those people. I just talk about the
I
game.
think that's one of my favorite methods of doing it personally, because it's always so random and unexpected. Because most of the professionals, when you catch them when they're solo queuing ranked, or maybe they're queuing with their friends or whatever. I actually ran into Jay Wismont today too. I should have asked him as well, but I didn't.
Missed opportunity.
Right. But it's funny because typically the attention that they get in game is much more fanboy. And honestly, I don't think there are that many opportunities for them as players to really have an
have a
expressive
conversation.
format like this. Yeah, it's something that's very unique that now we have not only us, but there are several different popular podcast shows specific to Rocket League esports. So it's a very new format, but it's so intriguing because they don't really have opportunities like that elsewhere.
Yeah. But I don't know. I think we've beat this horse enough. Do you agree, or do you have any final words you want to say on the server collapse, as we'll call it?
Just that I'm looking forward to the first week of RLCS as usual, and I'm Psionics, if you're listening to the podcast, come on, hang out.
I'm ready for this first weekend. It's gonna be super exciting to see, and we'll be sure to come back with results next week, hopefully. I say hopefully because who knows if they're going to have issues again if they're shutting it down right now during the podcast. But we're going to move on to the next deal. Season 9 Rocket League World Championship venue has been announced. I'm going to show you guys that video right quick. Sorry for you podcast listeners, but you get a nice tune to listen to at least. So if anything, here's some music for you to listen to while we do this. So give me one sec, and here we go.
I think I need therapy when my feet gets the best of me. I can't seem to understand how you do this to me. You've been running in circles inside my head. Wasn't looking for love, but baby, I found you instead. I didn't know I was a casualty until you stopped my heart and you made me see. I think I need to confess. Saw you in that red dress. I can't seem to understand how you got all that finesse. Still been running in circles inside my head.
LRG do what they could not do before.
I didn't know I was a casualty until you stopped my heart and you made me see. I need love. I need you.
And so there you go. It is going to be in Dallas this season, and it is going to be the weekend of April 24th to 26th. I am super pumped for this because this is a nice, easy drive from my house. I mean, I say easy, but it's like 4 hours. But still, it is in Texas, and I can go to this one. It is going to be my very first LAN ever.
Yeah, I know the feeling. When it was in Newark, New Jersey, I had the same exact expression. My first thought was, I am going. And Dallas is great because flights are not bad, hotels are not bad, and
Dallas is a really cool place too, though. Like, there's a lot to do.
I don't
It's not
expect it
even
to
just
be
that.
overly expensive, so I am on like a 90 to 95% chance I am very much going. I've already scoped it out. I have friends that are going. I have people like you who are going that I know, so I am
So here's what we need
very,
to do.
very, very, very strongly considering it.
Here's what we need to do, okay?
Okay.
Nightly podcast recap, dude.
I'm telling you, I'm there.
We'll call it RLCS after dark. Have some beers, hang out in a room, and just talk about the day. That sounds good.
I dude, count me in.
You're
It's
like,
really
yes, please.
it's for me right now. It's really just a matter of securing the funding and making sure that I can afford to go. Again, it's just a matter of making sure that I can get there, but it seems accessible and reasonable enough, and I will have the time that I am expecting to go. So I cannot wait. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm just really hoping that regardless of missing the first week of league play, that date stays the same, because I'm trying to do things like now, like flights and hotels and stuff. Like, we're looking now at getting it.
The tickets go on sale February 22nd. So if you want to get your ticket to the Dallas LAN April 24th through 26th, that is going to be the day that they go on sale for you. But yeah, I'm super excited. It's going to be my very first LAN ever to attend. Despite how much I love the game, I've never been able to go for. Naga, how much are tickets? They've typically been like what? How much were your tickets for?
Like
LAN?
$55 or $60 depending on the venue and the
Seating.
provider.
Do they have like spots for seating and stuff? Like you pay for
They
a specific seat? Or
I haven't really looked at the venue itself. I know
is that how it was
theater.
for yours though, or was it just a section?
They were individual seats, but that was because it was in the Prudential Center, which is an actual NHL arena. So they only had they only had the lower section open, which is around 10,000 seats that they had open. But it was, again, that was for Newark, and it's good, but it depends.
It varies. Okay.
Yeah, so I would imagine the tickets for this will be in the same area.
Yeah, you can expect. I don't know. I feel like they would maybe raise the price because now the game's more popular.
I don't think they're trying to extort their fans necessarily, but we'll see. Once that gets closer,
probably 60 to 80 is a safe bet.
Probably.
That's probably a safe bet for you on the price. But yep, super excited for that. So that is that. Moving on to the next one. The CRL B Stream talent lineup has been announced. So this is done by College Carball Association. That's like the new official collegiate Rocket League deal. So Fickle Platypus and myself are going to be the hosts. And then casters are Samael, Meet and Greek, Squid, and Hunted. So that's your talent lineup for that. The ones for the official broadcast, that's probably going to be Corelli as the host again with Dazarin, Jorby, and then Achieves will probably be there again too. I'm excited for Dazarin to be on that.
But my boy Ryan getting on the desk.
Yeah, for the B Stream, I'm going to be hosting. It's going to be exciting.
Yes, sir. No, that's so cool. And yeah, obviously it's nice to have, our homegrown talent here getting that chance, moving up on the world, both in casting and in hosting, working at Rival, getting on the CRL B Stream. Looking good, Ryan. Looking good.
Gonna be part of the play-ins, or not the play-in. Yeah, I think I'm still gonna be a part of the play-ins.
Ideally.
And then I'll be helping out with the league play broadcasts for the B Stream for Rival Series for North America, and then I'll be doing stuff for I'll be doing, I think, a total of 4. I'll be host for 4 broadcasts for the B Stream for Collegiate Rocket League. So that's exciting.
Yeah,
I'm super pumped about it.
Super, super awesome. I'm just glad that your work is being recognized and you're, getting these opportunities to do these events, because everyone's looking for that break, And once you start to get in, it's only up from here, right?
We need to get someone with a PWR sign to show up behind the desk at LAN.
I'm down.
I'll be wearing my hat and my hoodie.
Yeah, can you order me an extra hoodie? I'll wear it around at LAN. I don't care. I'll rep the brand. I told you, I'm a great sellout.
I know you are. We'll look into getting you one.
Oh, sick. Thanks.
But that concludes the news segment. So now we are going to go into a quick word from our sponsors, G Fuel and GameStop. So first up is GameStop. GameStop has always given power to the players. Now they're bringing it specifically to esports players. GameStop's new esports-oriented Pro Training Series aims to bring the skills of pros directly to you. The Pro Training Series are each carefully crafted with help from esports professionals from teams such as Complexity, Optic Gaming, and even the Dallas Fuel and Houston Outlaws. With their help, they provide easily digestible videos aimed at helping improve your skills for various esports titles. They have already crafted several guides for games such as Overwatch, Madden 20, Fortnite, and more. You may be wondering how much such a wonderful series costs, and I am happy to tell you that it will not cost you a dime. That's right, the GameStop Pro Training Series are all 100% free. So what are you waiting for? Head over to GameStop.com/esports to start reading up on the series and begin dominating the competition today. Again, that's GameStop.com/esports. Yet another reason why GameStop continues to give power to the players. And then our next sponsor, G Fuel. G Fuel is the official drink of esports. Since 2004, G Fuel has been providing top gamers with energy, focus, and endurance. They have a huge selection of flavors such as snow cone, strawberry shortcake, sour cherry, or even my personal favorite, hype sauce, which is raspberry lemonade. It's so good. G Fuel just released a brand new flavor, French vanilla iced coffee. Mix that with milk. Ooh, that's going to be a good one. Their drinks are nice and easy to make. All you do is add water, or in some cases milk, and then start mixing with the flavor of your choice, and voila, you have delicious G Fuel ready to drink. With over 30 different flavors to choose from, there is something for everyone. Join popular gamers and content creators like PewDiePie, Dr. Disrespect, Lyric, and many others for the energy revolution. Go and visit gfuel.com to purchase your very own sample pack with an assortment of other top 10 flavors and get energized today. Again, that is gfuel.com, the #1 drink of esports. So now we are going to move on into the roster shuffle. Oh, that was a lot to read.
Hey, what
First
a
time doing those, I got to figure out a better way to hold.
What a different problem to have for us.
Yeah, right. But the roster shuffle is going to be pretty brief today. CJ has announced that he is leaving the Chiefs and he has joined the Renegades in OCE. One of them was his former teammate. God, who was it? I'm blanking out on who it was now.
On which roster? The Chiefs, the Renegades.
It was a former teammate whenever he was like a part of Tainted Minds and stuff.
Cammy, right?
Was it?
Or no?
I feel like it was. If that sounds right.
Listen, it's OC. I'm bad at it. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know.
We've got to get better.
We've been saying that for 6 months and we still haven't gotten better.
CJ posted something. There it is. Da-da-da-da. Who was his former teammate? I read this earlier and it said who his teammate was. Kami. You're right.
I was right. See, I'm not totally uneducated about OCE.
You're like,
okay.
I know things.
Yeah. All right, good.
But, I mean...
Yes, I did my homework.
Apparently there's supposed to be a bunch of shakeups with the OCE scene. That's interesting to me because I didn't think that the OCE scene was really going to be like shocking or anything, but CJ said that we can expect a lot of changes with the OCE teams.
So, well, actually, I see now I'm really behind, and I'm going to admit that I actually don't have our show notes up in front of me right now. I'm just kind of rolling with it, but the other side of it too. Well, I just love listening to the sound of your voice on these issues, and I just tend to go with the flow in that regard. But the other part of it is, so Jake is actually coming out of retirement in OC, and he'll be teaming up with the original season 4 Chiefs roster, which is Torsauce, Jake, and Drip. Yes, sir.
That's gonna be a ballin' team right there.
Yeah,
man.
they have they've signed up for qualifiers that way. Again, that came out like just a little bit before the show today, so that is exciting.
Team right there.
See, but and I posted this in the thread when it came up. I don't know how much impact they're going to have right away. They will obviously be very good. Like, don't get me wrong. But Jake has been out of professional Rocket League for a while. This is a team that he
was acting as the coach for TSM.
Okay, but so he wasn't playing professionally. Excuse me.
Yeah, but he hasn't. The big thing is like he hasn't left the game, and I almost wonder if having switched to that coaching role, if he's gonna help be a better leader for that team now, because he'll be able to help. Like now you have a player who has been both a coach and the player with the team, and this is a team that's very familiar with one another, to where I don't think that they would have much of an issue of having him double as their coach and a player on the team, because he probably has the ability now to look at the bigger picture and things to, help figure out what they need to work on. And he did it with an EU team, so he's bringing that experience back with him as well.
Yeah, it's just, I never think it's that easy to just pick up where you left off, so to speak. Yeah. I do think they will do well. I just anticipate it might be rocky at the start, but either way, it is cool. It is exciting. I'm glad that OCE is at the minimum entertaining, because it's difficult for us to watch due to the time differences and just how much there's going on now with the RLCS. So I know personally I struggle to keep up with it. So yeah. It's really exciting. I just don't know. I don't know if that OG Chiefs team is going to be as good as people think they are. I reserve my opinion.
I think
until
that's
see them
fair.
play.
We haven't seen them in a while. Like, who knows if they still got it? But based on how they did in the past, I got some faith in them. I think that they'll be a ballin' team still in OCE, because OCE having that lower talent threshold right now, I think it still is possible for you to have this kind of situation where they can come back and still be a good team. But that is rising. I mean, again, Trippe and CJ didn't make it last season for LAN, so I mean, anything can happen. It still is a developing region, so who knows how that's going to play out, but I'm excited for it. Is there any other roster stuff that I missed that you know of?
Not that I know of. Again, the rosters for this season have basically been locked at this point, so it's hard to really pick up new stuff. Really, the only major thing will be once play-ins happen, we'll have a better idea of who's in the RLRS and whatnot. So that'll be next week, of course. But yeah, we kind of our whole schedule and like idea of a flow for the show got kind of messed up by the whole.
I was hoping to talk about
server
results and everything,
right?
Who's joining the rival series. I was like, this is gonna be a jam-packed episode. I'm hoping next week.
We're just gonna get it next week instead. So
But we are done with the roster shuffle. So for the first time in what feels like forever, you and me actually have time to just chat about things. That feels weird. I'm not used to that. You and me never have time for the freewheeling segment.
No, because we talk about this stuff in such a jam-packed hour that it's typically very difficult to get to this point. However, with a distinct lack of matches this week, we don't really have that much to review. So we do get to freewheel. I'm kind of excited. Let's get into it. What do we want to talk about? There's so many directions we can go.
Chat, dish out a topic for us, and we'll discuss it at length. Or actually, no, I have one.
Okay.
Chat, sorry, forget you.
Later. We'll bring him in later.
Lawler released a video saying the things that he thought should be improved upon for Rocket League. What did you have a chance to watch that video?
I didn't watch the video, but I caught the TLDR in the comments, which is basically the same thing, right?
Yeah. So I like, my question for you is just, what do you think we should try to update in the game? Like, what are some things that you would like to see the game have that it doesn't currently have, or anything like that?
So I'm going to go to his list that you're mentioning as I'm going by top post this past week. It was like one of the...
Yeah, I got
okay,
it.
Lawler's list of proposed changes for Rocket League. So his list has, so for casual players, bring back custom / different game modes, Rocket Labs, workshop maps, create a Halo Forge type editor where it's super easy to create and share community maps. And then he said for competitive play, ranked needs to be a first step to becoming a pro, so he's advocating for hard resets to prevent smurfing, use pros to playtest things that affect the competitive scene, remove solo standard, and implement a club queue with its own rank and best of 3 series. That individually I really like.
Yeah.
Revamp tournaments, make the game free to play, monetize the esport with merchandising, etc., and remove the $5,000, $50,000 yearly cap on tournaments. So that's kind of a lot. So the club thing I think would be amazing. So and this has sort of been talked about previously, where having like a club MMR, if you will. So let's say we make a Playing with Rockets club in the game.
Yeah.
And we sign me, you, and Eldino, right? So then whenever anyone plays together as the club and they queue into a club mode, their MMR is just based on the club's MMR, not their individual. So then you
like
get
basically team ranked.
Essentially.
Like
so it's really the opposite of solo standard in the sense that it would just be group standard, but you would just be a part of.
It's only partied up teams.
I think that would be absolutely amazing. I think it would give such a dynamic.
Well, I feel like you'd see pro players maybe not try to do scrimmages so much as just queue that.
Right. So imagine
know?
if you had a system where, okay, let's say Cloud9, right? They make their group and they go in and of course they smash people early on, but Cloud9 gets to the very top of the leaderboard. Okay. So then the PWR group, right?
Yeah,
Gets
'cause we're so balling.
So me, you, and Aldina, we group together and we climb, and then we get to play against Cloud9. Well, guess what? They can use that almost as a unofficial scrimming platform, right? Where you, let's say they're best
that's
of three.
exactly my thoughts. Is it's just an unofficial scrimming platform, and then like the teams who always complain of people not showing up to scrims and stuff, like just run this, you know?
Yeah, because you're establishing that competitive team environment.
Well,
which,
then the thing is too is like they could all organize with each other and just be like, hey, all RLCS teams queue club matchmaking at this time. And then, like, they just play, like, round-robin games against each other, basically.
yeah, it would be sick.
It doesn't even have to be, like, best stubs or anything. Like, it's just a way that they can just try a bunch of different teams all at once. I mean, I think that'd be kind of neat for them to do something like that. Just in, like, the professional aspect would be cool to see how that happens. But it'd be cool to see how it does developmentally for the lower teams, too. Like, I think the bubble scene and the rival series scene would be even more competitive because you and me would have the chance to play against these rival series teams, even if we're not a part of it, because we're queuing in this while they happen to be queuing in it. Like, that'd be neat. And I like that idea. But I mean, I'm also for a lot of the other things that he talked about of, I think that they need to remove the umbrella for the prize pools.
That's a big one.
I understand why you wanted to do it first, but I don't see the purpose to it now. Like like yours, like I would just say, hey, it can't be over 500,000. You're
right.
Like RLCS is already at 1 million. If anybody's willing to come offer a $500,000 tournament, like let them offer it. Let them do that because that's a big deal.
And I would say even lower. I would say, okay, if it's anything above $100,000, then you have to get our approval. Like, okay, fine, because that's huge. $100,000 is a ginormous tournament.
And then I think the idea of having a yearly cap is just outrageous. Like, I think that's stupid. If someone's willing to put $1 million into the game across an entire year, let them. There's one reason, in my opinion, why we are not a tier 1 esport already, and it's because we have the stupid prize cap. People are
outside tournaments.
Yeah. People are willing to put money into this game. They've shown it time and time again. They want to put money into this game, and Psyonix says no. We had Z-Land, that land that was happening in France. That was going to be a lot of people who were going to be introduced to the game for the first time, but Psyonix said no. Like, why? Just let them run that. And then people like Keemstar, he can just run his tournament, and hey, it can be a hit or it can be a flop. Who cares? My thing is, at the end of the day, a bunch of people are going to be exposed to the game. At the end of the day, that's what I want for this game more than anything. And that's what they should want. That is free advertising for your game if someone is willing to put money into it like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think having events like E-League and DreamHack where you have other major tournaments that are just outside of RLCS, the more that you can get of that, the better. And there's no reason to have it capped at $5,000. Even Johnny Boy runs into the problem, right? Because of his
he can't do his tournaments too often because if he pays out more than 50,000 in a year, he runs into issues with Psyonix then. Yeah,
so I agree. I think that would be the next outside of things directly in the game, that would be the biggest one that I would focus for things outside of the game itself. Inside of the game, I think there's a lot that you could do.
Yeah. Real quick, though, I want to address K-Factor. They want to eliminate competition in the RL esports scene. They want to keep sole control over it over wanting the exposure. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like, that's the whole reason why they have it, is because they don't want people conflicting with RLCS. Man, I would just say, like, hey, if it's over $100,000, just you can't put it on the day of LAN. Who cares? So you have a weekend of league play that has slightly less viewers. Who cares? I don't think that's gonna hurt anybody in the grand scheme of things. You know?
Well, it would have to be, you'd have to work around league play because you can't have a tournament that size and then have not RLCS teams competing, right? Because they can't do both at the same time.
What if their goal isn't is just to put on the tournament? They don't care who shows up. And in some cases, like rival series,
tournament organizers care who show up.
Huh?
Tournament organizers care who show up. Are you kidding?
Well, sometimes they don't. I mean, sometimes people don't care that much about it. They just they're looking to get viewership and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, okay, look, if you're willing to put on a tournament though for them, like you're naturally going to look and see, oh, would we be able to get pro players? Like if that's something that matters to them as a tournament organizer, they're going to say, oh, will they be able to play? And naturally, you're going to be reaching out to them beforehand anyway. And so, like, my thing is, if anything, it's going to be one of those things that it's like, okay, maybe you can't do it during league play or you can't do it during LAN. There still are plenty of dates throughout the year that stuff could have been put on. There could have easily been a handful of tournaments or like a tournament or two done in January. We didn't get any, though, because they're not allowed to. Or we could have had some in December before the holidays happen and stuff. Like, it's all possible, and there's plenty of dates that can be chosen to do this stuff. But again, it's Psyonix purposely cutting off parts of its own body that it doesn't need to.
Yeah, well, just put us in charge for a day, Ryan. We'll fix it all, right? We'll come in and we'll become the CEO of Psyonix for a day, and king of the castle. We'll make Rocket League great again. Don't worry, guys. We got it.
Goal in life is to get the CEO of Psyonix on this podcast.
You start in the rival series, you start at CRL, and you just keep working up. Eventually, you become an RLCS broadcaster. But then, not only do you become an RLCS broadcaster, you eventually become a Psyonix employee, and then you just rise all the way to the position as CEO. Brilliant. I love it.
Now,
we're already starting, guys. We're already
casters there. Aren't a part of Psyonix. Remember that. They're contracted. Lawler was clear about that.
I know, but I'm being a little bit facetious. But
I'm just teasing.
It's a long wish list for us, and I just I don't know. I
just want tournaments to work. Please, tournaments work.
We just want more Rocket League, right? At the end of the day, isn't that what we're here for? It's just give me more, to work with. Always.
Honest, I could care less about anything else. Just please make tournaments work consistently. That's all I want. I want to practice my casting, and I can't do that if that's broken.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because all the money that I would use for a tournament happens on Monday. So I can't do that.
Right. Well, it's part dedication from the community too to keep this kind of stuff going. So as long as the community is here, we will always have stuff going on, right? Because as long as there are still people playing and still people watching and still people supporting, at the end of the day, right, we'll always have Rocket League. Yeah, so everyone has ideas to how to make it better. We are always on the outside looking in, but I don't know. It's just a tough spot to be for Psyonix in general. It just feels like
they need to pick one or the other because they're trying to do this weird hybrid between franchising and having it be a free-for-all like CSGO. And because yes, they each have their pros and cons and stuff, but it's like League of Legends has full control over everything, or Riot Games has full control over everything League of Legends. That system works for them. Steam is very hands-off, or Valve is very hands-off with CSGO, but that works for them. They have just a bunch. There's tournaments like crazy happening for CSGO.
Oh my god!
And it's just like, at some sooner rather than later, they just need to pick. Are we going to be like Riot Games and franchise this, or are we just going to let it be a free for all and just maybe do RLCS once a year? I mean, that cuts cost on them. Then they don't have to run a broadcast all the time. They're then saving money on that side. Maybe they can offer an even bigger world championship each year. They've just got to make a decision at some point.
They do, and it's such a young esports still that we are still a long way away from where, because you're talking about League of Legends and Counter-Strike, those are two giants of the industry, and we are still a long way away from that.
Though, is like we can easily move up into those heights for the game if they would start making a decision for which way they want to go. And it feels like they're like, we want to do this, we want to do that. Like, they want to try and keep both venues open, but it's like, you've got to close one off sooner or later, because doing it both ways is not really working for you.
Yeah, and I'll say this, is that it actually, to your point there, it actually translates to a lower level as well, in the sense that, you know, working as, like, I've been doing, you're obviously much more experienced in this realm than I am, but like, I've just now really started to begin casting, right? And so I just today signed a contract for an opportunity, and it's not Rocket League, it's League of Legends, because they have fostered an competitive environment where they are able to host smaller tournaments that are still competitive, that still have good prize pool, that can afford to pay talent, because they have a direction for that game. Rocket League, as it sits right now, does not have a established direction for the game
that the community understands. Community doesn't understand what direction they're trying to take the game, and it's like, they've talked about, like, oh, we might do franchising, we might not. Like, pick a lane and let's go. I think you're gonna have people gripe regardless of which direction you go, but at least you'll have a direction, and the community will understand that direction. Like, whether people like the direction you choose or not, that doesn't matter, because they like the game. They're gonna come back and play regardless. If someone leaves because you decide to go franchising, okay, like, I guarantee you they're gonna come back. I guarantee you they're gonna come back. I mean, if anything, just keep the rival. I don't know how they would do franchising exactly, but like, just, you got to pick a lane at some point. That's my big problem with them, is I don't even think they know what they want.
Big picture, right? That's where they struggle. So yeah, I don't know. It's again, it's been a really tough weekend for Rocket League, but the funny thing is that I have a feeling once we start getting RLCS matches up and going again, and once we are all, you know, fully set and moving on this season, things will be better.
All fall back into place and be fine.
I promise. And again, it's kind of funny. Like I actually, like, because again, I was upset at the top of the show, and like, I had to get it off my chest, because I very, very rarely take that negative of an approach to this game ever on this show and just in general. But I promise you it gets better. There is a light at the end of the tunnel for Rocket League. And yeah, it's good. You know, it's hard right now, but there is a path forward. We just have to take a leap of faith, right?
Yep. But you got anything else you want to add?
Oh, not really. It's been a
long day.
It's been a really crazy, like, week for me, because I'm still just very, very busy overall, and it's exhilarating and it's amazing. I'm trying to get to RLCS LAN, and I'm trying to do all of these different projects and stuff, but it's just been a lot for me lately. So I'm good. I'm good, Chief.
All right. With that, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Once again, be sure to follow us here on Twitch so you can stay up to date with us as we go live each week. We'll be uploading this episode later on YouTube and podcast services for anyone who missed today's live recording. You can follow Perino at Perino TV. You can also catch him on twitch.tv/playvs. That is twitch.tv/playvs. Go. He's commenting over there doing Rocket League. You're also doing League of Legends soon. This guy is going places. He's doing a good job. You got to go support him. You can also follow me at PWR_Ryan, and you can catch me over on twitch.tv/Rival Esports for the play-ins and league play for Rival Series, all that stuff. I'll be a part of that B stream. And I will also be over on twitch.tv/College Carball for Collegiate Rocket League. I have to find out the dates exactly that I'm doing it again. But, yep, that's going to do it here for us, guys. This has been Around the Scene, presented to you by Playing with Rockets. I'm Ryan, that's Perino, and it has been our pleasure to have you with us. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day. See you next time.